Yeah, let's just dive right in.
Sounds good to
So
me.
it it looks like many of our listeners already know about the project and myself, but I'm gonna do an intro anyways, and everyone who's up here as a speaker will do a brief intro, and then we'll get into things. So I am Mike. I am one of the three original co-founders of Kaiju Cards. We're all still with the project, the three co-founders. My role here at Kaiju Cards has mainly been scaling and operations so far. It's been hiring, making sure we have the right people in the right places, managing pretty much every department as we've grown. Actually, as we've grown, there have been people we've hired who have begun to take over specific parts of the project, which is really nice to see. So the goal for me is as we get people in key points in operations, which has already been happening, art team, development team, blockchain team, product team, marketing team, Logan right here, community team, Fizz 3D, Pancake, who's in the chat as well as an amazing mod. Um, the goal for myself is to help guide the overall vision of the project and get out there and be more of the the evangelist and the public face. So that's been my role the last year here at Kaiju Cards. Really heavily involved day in and day out. And it's been a pleasure working on it for the last 10 months or so. And I'm really excited to see where we go in the next 10 months to year. I think it's going to be great. So that's my intro. Logan, if you'd like to intro yourself, please be my guest.
Yeah. So I'm Logan. I'm kind of a relatively recent addition to the team. I guess not anymore. I'm just gonna scrap that. I'm not even recent. I've been on the
time
team forever
passes.
at
Time
this
passes
point.
so fast.
Yeah, like I'm like old school at this point, like a veteran on the team.
Yep.
But yeah, so I guess you could say my title is marketing manager. Is that correct?
Yeah,
I
man.
think that's
Yeah.
yeah. There we go. See, I
Yes,
can remember
sir.
that. So yeah, so I'm the marketing manager here, um, getting us prepared for, like Mike just said, he's looking forward to the next 10 months. I'm looking forward to like the next two because like we have
Yep.
so many really cool things happening here, and so I'm kind of helping and getting us prepared in terms of like customer and potential customer uh, facing touch points. So I'm getting everything ready on from that standpoint. So think social media, including our Discord server, content creators, traditional media, and even um, other touch points that we haven't even start like we will have an Instagram at some point in the near future, but yeah, basically, I'm getting us ready, prepared, uh, to be effective communicators on all of those platforms, and then some when it's ready, when we're ready to show off some of the really cool things we have in the pipeline. Yeah, it's kind of a little short rundown on me, and I'm gonna pass it over to. I don't know if you're our most recent edition 3D. I think it's either you or Mike. Who's the most recent edition? Is it 3D?
That's a good question. I believe it is 3D. I believe that the dev that we hired in the last month joined just about 2 weeks before 3D did, maybe a week.
Okay. All right, so
Yep.
cool. Yeah, 3D, you're the baby of the bunch. So I'm gonna pass it over to you to kind of introduce yourself and yeah.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for the introduction of as baby of the bunch.
There you go.
Very proud to take up that mantle. But yeah, nice to meet you guys. I know that I've seen a lot of you guys already in chat, but I think for some of you guys, it's the first time y'all hearing my voice. But yeah, nice to meet everybody. I'm 3D. I've been on Solana for a couple months now, since like November, and as long as I can remember, I've always just been working towards community building on Solana, kind of like building connection with people, getting to know people, and really just seeing the Solana space thrive. My experience in like Web 2 had a lot to do with like customer service. So speaking with people, chatting about being upset about their tickets because it used to be for Ticketmaster. And then that slowly turned into from taking calls to taking emails to doing chats. So I'm extremely proficient on the mouse and keyboard. From there, that went into
Love it.
Oh, I mean, I'm not even kidding. I type like 120 words per minute, which I
Oh,
mean,
you meant like raw technical skill. Yeah, I love it.
yeah, but I mean that pales in comparison with Fizbon. We had like a typing test and she's like at like 130 and I was like, "Man, that's kind of crazy." But yeah, I mean, I went from customer service into some leadership roles. I've worked with some projects in the past on Ethereum and on Solana as well. But yeah, it's just really nice to meet everyone and be a part of the team. Really kind of get to know the culture of the Discord and kind of catch up on everything that's been going on. So yeah, it's been real nice.
Yeah, welcome. We're glad to have you. Yeah, I think as Logan mentioned, there's so much coming up for us. It's just really important that we have, people like yourself, Fizz, Pancake available. A lot of community members too have been chiming in, helping people out with education. So
Yeah, it's been really nice.
yeah, I'm really excited about, as we funnel people into the Discord, once we start to do a bigger push when the game demo comes out, we'll have all these great things in place, people to answer questions, help with education, and really get things going. So thanks for introing yourself, 3D Fizz. You were a speaker. Did you demote yourself? You should come up here and introduce yourself.
Hi. I know nobody knows me. Never been here before.
Never.
I absolutely hate Warhog.
Yep. You hate Jerry too?
And Jerry, especially Jerry. All he does is splash.
Yeah, come on, it's useless. What's he gonna do?
Stare.
Dude, you're both hurting me right now. Like Jerry's my guy.
Yep,
Jerry's my dude. Yeah.
Jerry is the man or the fish.
Yeah.
So
And
Fizz, oh, go ahead, Logan. Sorry.
sorry, I just wanted to. It's totally useless thing to say, but in the future, when we do a booth, we should just go to like a local fish market and get a dead fish and just plop it on the table, and it'll be a prop for Jerry.
Perfect. Yeah,
Sorry,
IRL.
just
It's
yeah,
no, it's the transition from digital goods to real life goods,
yeah,
real life goods
100%.
and collectibles.
Yeah,
The smell would definitely attract people.
that's what I'm
You
saying.
could say that. Yep.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, Fizz, you've been with us for quite some time now. You've been with us almost since the beginning. So you've been putting in work, sometimes as the sole CM that we've had. So big shout out to you. You've been around and helping the community with all of their needs for quite some time.
Yeah, it's been fun. I love this community. Everyone here is
Yeah.
awesome. And 3D
Yep.
is also really cool, so.
Indeed. Awesome. So I understand we have a community event tomorrow that you guys are running, and I'm wondering if you guys want to give that a quick intro before I dive into what I have to talk about for the project and for the town hall.
Oh yeah, 3D, did you want to talk about that while I get the poll set up?
Yeah, definitely. So well, Fizbin and I want to start doing events on Fridays. So for tomorrow, we want to do a nice little Ghibli movie night. So what Fizz is preparing right now is a poll as to what the favorite movie would be for you guys. We have four options so far, which I believe is Princess Mononoke, Spirited Away, Howl's Moving Castle, and one more. What was it there, Fizz?
Totoro.
Oh, Totoro. Yes, exactly. Oh my
Boom.
goodness. I have a life
Yeah.
size out of Totoro. How could I have forgotten? That's such
How
a
could you forget? Yeah. Cool. Those are classics.
Yeah, so we're gonna have a poll for one of those, and then For next Friday, we were thinking of doing some Gardic Phone. However, unfortunately, I will be moving to Texas, so I think Fizz will be taking the reins on that. But yeah, we're also working on a nice little calendar so that we can share the rest of the month and what it looks like for things that we're planning to do. So that way we can get as many of y'all involved as possible.
Awesome.
Yeah, looking to improve the vibe here. Um, really just getting ahead of growth. We anticipate growth moving forward when we have milestones, including the upcoming demo. So we'd like to have the vibe here um, kind of set, structured, so that when we have kind of an inflow of new users joining, they'll have all these, along with our current community. We'll all have these new activities, events, and have a calendar shared so that everyone can see them and kind of hang out and enjoy um, as you'd like.
Yeah.
So we're just getting prepared for that, getting ahead of it. So we're going to start rolling things out as we move forward here, starting with again tomorrow, and then it's looking like each Friday we're gonna have something, and we'll continue to add more activities, more events, more just opportunities to hang out and vibe with the team.
Yeah, indeed. I love the choice of the Ghibli movies as well. People who are familiar with Kaiju Cards know that we take a lot of inspiration from Studio Ghibli films, especially in a lot of our landscape art, specifically for one of our level designs, Hooligan's Bluff. It's the DNA of Ghibli is for sure in that level design specifically. So I think it's a great choice. Seen all those movies several times, and if I can tomorrow, I will be popping in and watching with y'all while I work. Well, thank you for that intro, guys, and for explaining the event tomorrow. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to dive right into what we have to talk about in this month's town hall. So first things first, what is Kaiju Cards? So there's a couple levels to this question, right? And you can answer it in a couple levels of depth. So the first level of depth you'd probably say is something like Kaiju Cards is a trading card game. There's cards, they're tradable, you can play with them, there's characters associated, all that good stuff. The second level of depth is it's a blockchain trading card game. Of course, all these assets are tradable on an open market, all that good stuff that you would expect out of a blockchain game. And the third level of depth, which I really like to talk about a lot, is the following. Kaiju Cards is a roguelike trading card game, and it is heavily inspired by classics such as Magic the Gathering and Yu-Gi-Oh! And roguelike deck builders such as Slay the Spire and Hearthstone Mercenaries. Now, I like this depth of explanation because it gets to the core of what our product is, what to expect when you use the product, and the things that we draw inspiration from. So let me break it down. Roguelike is generative level design. You're fighting through an ever-changing problem. And trading card game, we all know it's trading cards. So I think it's useful to dive into what the product really is overall, because it sets up expectations properly, lets you guys know what you're going to be doing, and really lets you know how to interact and engage. So that's just what we are as a project. Now, let me tell you about what we've been up to specifically the last month. So June and early July has really been this period of intense kind of solidification and formalization. We've been pushing a lot of art into final game art. We've been working heavily on UI and UX elements for the games. We've been focusing a lot more on visual polish. We've been focusing a lot on leveling of characters and level design, the things you may encounter in the game. And we've been focusing on product as well overall. What parts of the products interlock? How do users get to those different parts of the product? How do the different parts of the product support the other parts of the product? So the big thing for us right now is game development, right? And then the product that we're pushing out called the Sword Forge, which I will dedicate a portion of this talk to a little later on. So when we look back at June, we started a lot of things. Basically at this point, battle mechanics are almost fully sorted out. How you battle, what cards you use, the mana system, enemy intent, how you navigate that. So really what we're doing is we're taking a step back away from that core battle system, and we're incorporating what a full dungeon run in our game would look like. That's the map system, which you can see in our most recent blog post. You can see a video of actually the map system as it currently stands. So one of the big tasks right now is integrating the map system, how you traverse the dungeon. These branching paths on the map will be really important for planning your run. They'll be really important for knowing what you're going to do next and how you're going to navigate the many challenges ahead of you, because you want to make it as deep in the run as you can, right? Another big thing is rest areas. Rest areas are a really important kind of touch point on the map. You're going to need to rest and regain some HP or regain some items or what have you at some point. Is kind of a hallmark of roguelike deck builders, from which we draw a lot of inspiration. The other big things that we're really working on right now have a lot to do with polish. Their sound effects, their visual effects. You can see examples of sound effects and visual effects actually right now in the sneak peek channel in our Discord. So I definitely recommend checking that out. I post things there pretty often, and they give kind of an indication of where we're headed with the game, the visual identity, how it'll feel when you play it. Game feel, I think, if we took a step back, game feel is really what we're talking about here, right? Sound effects, visual effects, impacts, how characters respond when they get hit. Does the screen shake a little? All these things really add into the user experience. So as I talk about all this stuff, it's easy to get lost in small details. It's easy to think all these little things that we're putting in, this is what we're working on, right? But if you take a step back, really what we're working on is the full vision, the complete product, the complete user experience. And the fact that we're addressing these things now means that we're very close to something playable. Very close. I think that's really exciting. It's what we've been working towards this entire time. So these are kind of the big ticket items, and they tell you a little about where we've been and where we're going. One of the other big things that we've been working on is Gen 1. Now, this is a subject that we get tons of questions about. Gen 1, when is Gen 1 coming? It's probably one of the most asked questions in our Discord. We'd have to look up stats, but it's commonly asked. So let me answer first, what is Gen 1, for those of you who don't know? So all Kaiju cards that currently exist, they're Gen 0 Kaiju cards. They were created last year. They're the early ones. They have a specific, unique art style that potentially no other collection from us will have in the future. And what Gen 0 can do is they're playable characters in game, obviously. But they can also summon new characters into the world. Those are Gen 1 characters. This essentially puts you guys, the community, in control of distribution of access to the game. Now, something that one of our lead game devs talks about often is he sees the major difference of Web 2 and Web 3 gaming as this. In Web 2 gaming, the company sells you the license to play the game. They sell it to you directly. It's non-transferable. You play the game X amount of hours, you get whatever use out of it. A large majority of the games you download, you may not even play, right? That's really common, having the big library in Steam or whatever app it is you use. In Web3 games, the users and the community can be in control of distribution to access to the game. And I think that's why we get asked about Gen 1 so often. So coming back to Gen 1, we've been working out the whole production pipeline. It's a proprietary thing. We're using several tools. It's pretty exciting. So what it is we can create new generative characters, generative meaning, the sum of all the parts put together in a unique way, much like generative PFPs. I see a DGods in the chat. It's exactly like that. Shout out DGods, by the way. But it's exactly like that. There's generative attributes. There's generative assets that are put together to create a fully new character. And what we've done is we've created a pipeline that allows these characters to be created at the moment that you want to create them. And then they already have a fully playable in-game sprite that conforms to our standards for animation. And I think that last sentence is really important because we have standards. We come, the core art team comes from the animation industry. They have high standards. It's just the way it is. So we're really excited that we were able to work out Gen 1, the pipeline. Now, when is Gen 1 coming? That's a different question. That depends on a lot of things. It depends on demand for Gen 1. It demands on the game itself, the game being playable. We want to make sure that things are being released at the right time to make the biggest impact for you guys as users. If we release products out of order, it can get a little hairy. It's not a streamlined experience. So Gen 1 is another kind of big ticket item that we've been working out, that we have a solution for, that we're excited to implement when the time comes. Next couple months, I can't imagine that you would see Gen 1 in the next 3 to 4 months. It would be beyond that timeline, mainly because the next 3 to 4 months are chock full of so many other things, which I'm going to get to in a second. The final thing I want to touch on that we've been working on is really making sure that our game is playable on mobile. Making sure that that experience works, testing for mobile. It's very, very important. We personally view the onboarding of gamers. I think it's going to be mobile. People play browser games, it's true. It was especially a thing when I was a kid. I grew up in the era of Flash games. I was hanging out on newgrounds.com all the time. I was playing stick fight games. Pretty much everything you can imagine, I was eating it up. But we really view mobile as kind of the gaming experience for this type of game. So we've been testing that. It's working really well. You can see screenshots of that in many of our past blog posts. I can post a video of the mobile test at some point here too. I'd love to. Just once we clean a little couple things up, it'll be ready for your guys' eyes. So that's kind of where we stand overall. What we've been working on, what the big ticket items are. And really, when I say what we've been working on, it's what to look forward to. So what's next for us? What's next on the roadmap? I've been talking about what we've been doing. What's the vision for the next 3 months? So in the next 3 months, we're going to ship 2 products. The first of which is Swordforge. So what is the Swordforge? Well, it's a loot box game with a re-rolling mechanic and a risk curve. So you're going to be getting loot boxes, rolling for specific types of swords. You choose whether you want to keep it or re-roll. And then you're going to have a sword that's fully usable in game. What does it do in game? I will get to that. The Swordforge is also the distribution of generative assets. So it is testing out part of the pipeline for Gen 1. It's, as if people are aware of our history, the Kaiju Cards Gen 0 NFTs are not generative. So this is a distribution of generative assets that we're really excited about. And then the Swordforge is also infrastructure, like technological infrastructure, for future asset drops and other in-game mechanics. So there will be more equipment. There will be special edition cards. There will be infrastructural pieces for you as the user. So all of these things are set up and ready to be distributed by us getting the Sword Forge out. So the Sword Forge is slated to come out this month. This month only has 10 days left in it, so you can guess it's going to be out pretty soon here. We've been busy doing a lot of testing, making sure it works on mobile, making sure it works on desktop, making sure the flow is right, getting all the animations in that we want to be in. So that's on its way, and I think it's really exciting. So what do the swords do in game? Is a question we get asked pretty often. Most swords will add a card to your deck based on the attributes of the sword. So you equip a sword, you're getting a new playable ability card in your deck as long as the sword is equipped. And there will be variants in the types of playing cards that you get based on the attributes of the sword. I said most. So there's a question, what do the remaining swords do? The remaining swords will give special abilities or raw stat boosts. So there will be certain swords that don't give a playing card, but give you something else, something unique. Or power you up with a raw stat boost, making you do more damage or making your health higher, making you have just a little more magic, anything like that. But the point is, all swords, when equipped, will do something in game and they will contribute to your success. And it's going to be your job to find out what combination of character classes, what combination of equipable items are going to give you the best party to complete what it is you want to complete. So I think the Sword Forge is great as an individual product. It stands on its own. However, we really feel that the Sword Forge is more powerful when integrated with the game. And it really is meant to be part of the game. You can view the Sword Forge as just another early game mode similar to Genesis Quests that's coming out before the main game. So when the main game comes out, the Sword Forge will be integrated and it will be used to distribute things to you guys. There will also be a marketplace on which you can trade these items. That will be coming after the demo's out. But we really feel that the Sword Forge is best as a product when it's integrated into the game, and the swords that you get have immediate utility. So we are releasing the Sword Forge early. We are going to be releasing some swords. And then the plan is to have the Sword Forge also be live and distributing the remaining swords when the demo comes out. That way you guys know exactly what you're getting into, buying your swords. They're usable immediately, all that good stuff. So that's coming this month. And then later this quarter, the big thing that the entire team is working towards and really excited about is the playable demo. So the playable demo will have all basic battle mechanics. It'll have a beta version of equipping items like the swords, only the swords really. Those are all that will be available. And it will be a full dungeon run, but abbreviated. So it's going to take you through the whole flow of what it's like going through a dungeon run, navigating the map, getting to the rest area, fighting a boss, fighting increasingly difficult enemies. It's going to give you the whole kind of vision of what the game is and where we're headed. So when we ship the demo, what's going to happen is we're going to be iterating on it all the time. We're going to be taking feedback. We're going to be adding new features in often. We'll let you know when those features are coming. We'll let you know what they change, what they do. But we're really entering this public phase of building. So making a game is difficult. It takes a long time. And it really needs to be done by a core team. It needs to be done by a core group of people working on it day in, day out, sharing the same vision. So transitioning to building in public is a really, really big step. And it's something that happens in the traditional gaming world, but I think can be done in a more unique way in Web3. So we're really excited to get that out there. And that's coming. We're still on track to get it out this quarter. That's looking like September. And as we go forward, we'll absolutely be updating you on when that's coming. And really, I'm just excited to play and see what you guys think and get your feedback. So in regards to the playable demo, we are in talks with a few different partners currently for distribution of the demo. The goal is to cast as wide of a net as possible and get people playing the game. Get their feedback, get them in. The more eyes, the better. So as we approach some of these things, we'll be activating a lot more of the marketing, like Logan said. Really, when you think about the history of Kaiju Cards, it's been a lot of private building, and we're aware of that. And it's necessary. It's necessary for us to build the product. It takes a long time. They say on average, building a game takes between 3 to 5 years. Well, we're going to get this demo out in about a year from when we did our sale. And then we're going to be building the rest of it largely in public. So really, really exciting stuff coming in. The final point I want to make about the demo is rewards. We want to make sure that rewards are in there as soon after the demo goes live as possible. What are rewards? Well, Gems exists. If you're not familiar with Gems, it's our utility token, 100% community owned. That's one reward. There will be item NFTs as rewards. There will be resource NFTs as rewards, which you can use to craft. There'll be all sorts of things. So we want to make sure that that's integrated because the economy itself is going to require a lot of feedback and a lot of data. Crafting an economy is a data-driven experience. We can scheme about it all we want. We can think about it, plan, but we need data and we need feedback. It's just the way that it goes. So that's pretty much what I have for this town hall, just to update you on what we've done and where we're headed. I think when you look at the next 2 to 3 months, like Logan said, I was like, I'm excited for the next 10 months. And Logan was like, I'm excited for the next 2 to 3. Yep, you're absolutely right. There's big stuff coming. The game is going to be out there very soon. So we're really excited here to share the progress with you guys. We're really excited to start pushing this stuff out there. And please just hang out in the Discord, ask questions. I'm always available for questions. Check out the sneak peeks. At this point, Logan, I'm wondering if you have anything that you'd like to say before I dive into answering some of these questions from the community.
Yeah, I don't at this moment. I wanted to unmute just to kind of mention that, we do have a few questions in the town hall chat, but it sounds like you're already on that, so we can get to that. We do have, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 minutes or so tops, really. Like we have a hard stop because we do have our meeting with the web development team after
Yep.
this.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, yes, if you want to hop on that, that's all good.
Yeah, let me jump right in.
Sick.
All right, Beach Bum, it looks like you have the first 2 questions actually here, so I'll answer these. Do you plan to add any potions into loot or into the game like Slay the Spire has? I know the recent announcement about the plushies in loot with bonuses at rest stops were mentioned. Totally awesome, by the way. Thank you. Is this basically a replacement for that mechanic, or any plans to do both/other? So when you're talking about potions, really what comes to mind is the class of items known as consumables. They're one-time use, right? You have a potion, you can throw it, it explodes, it does something, it renders magic damage or bleed damage over time. So to answer that question more generally, yes, consumables, absolutely. One-time use things on your run, absolutely planned to be in the game. Now that differs a lot from the rest stops. So the rest stops won't give you loot usually. Usually what the rest stops will do is instead of a dungeon like room encounter with enemies, it'll give you some type of benefit or healing. Now, what does that look like? You go to the rest stop and you have 3 different choices. One of them is like gain 25% of your health back for a single character. Another option is like gain 7.5% health for each character. And another one might be like increase the amount of mana that you have in the next room, like right off the bat. So those, it doesn't give you loot or consumables. It gives you other types of benefits. I hope that answers your questions. They're 2 different things, and absolutely consumables will be in the game. All right, next question. Also from Beach Bum. There is a single skin out of the entire collection that is unique. The Autumn skin on a Bog Spirit. All other skins have multiple quantities. Does the team expect any more Autumn skins, or any idea of what special utility this could provide since it's unique? I know that you aren't sure of exact plans for skins yet, but curious about this one as it stands apart from the rest. So there's a couple different questions in here, and I'll break it down. Actually, I'm going to answer the final question first. What made you opt to make this skin unique? So in the rarity distribution of the characters, the original Gen 0 characters, there's limited amounts of the Bog Spirit card. Way more limited than other cards just due to its rarity rating. So the Bog Spirit's an epic card, and there exists like under 40 of them. So to make a specific skin for the Bog Spirit, we had to make it more scarce than the skin for a common. And the Autumn skin just looked really good and makes sense. So hopefully that answers your question for what opted us to make it unique. It has to do with rarity calculations, the math of the rarity scheme of the whole collection. In terms of special utility, every skin is, number one, a cosmetic and rarity thing. They look different, they're more rare. Number two, all skins will add some type of utility. Usually it'll just be a slightly different playing card than what you normally get. So let's say you have the Autumn skin. Maybe you have access to a special card that's called like Falling Leaves, something related to Autumn. And what that does is it's a card that only the Autumn skin Bog Spirit can use. That's true of all skins. So there's nothing particularly unique about the Autumn skin versus other skins. They all have a uniqueness to them. In terms of expecting more Autumn skins, I don't know. So the way that we are thinking and conceptualizing Gen 1 is very different from Gen 0. And it's not going to be this same skin model. The skins are very special edition things. They won't exist in Gen 1. Gen 1 will just be fully generative characters with their specific traits and their cards and their class built into them. So I hope that answers that question for you, Beach Bum. If you need any more clarification, just tag me in the chat. I'll be around for sure. All right, a question from Mantible. Will Kaiju be using and be playable on the Solana phone? The goal is yes. We are talking with the XNFT people, and we'd love to be on the Solana phone. It's a big possibility, and we view that as like the best place we can be. I know there's a lot of controversy over the Solana phone out there in the blockchain space. I think it's a great way to prove mobile use, frictionless mobile use of blockchain technology. So yes, the short answer is yes. Maybe not right at the outset, but we're gunning to be on there. Next question. How many gems will one sword roll cost? All right, we have two different internal answers for that question, and I can't reveal them at this time. We'll be revealing that once we get closer to shipping the Sword Forge, which, as I said, is coming in the next 10 days or so. Can you take one sword per character or more? What are the limitations / any max limits when it comes to the swords? So what I'm anticipating you're asking here is for purchasing? Or are you in the chat? Can you clarify? Is this for purchasing or for equipping? Okay, so in terms of like purchasing the Sword Forge, swords from the Sword Forge, there's not a limit per character. Like we're not going to be looking like how many characters you have in your wallet. and making it so you can only buy as many swords as you have characters in your wallet. For equipping, every kaiju can only equip one sword. There's going to be a sword slot, or a hand slot rather. There'll be 2 hand slots. And you can equip one sword in one of the hands. So you're going to have a choice. And you're going to be playing around a lot with what's the best sword for this? What's the best sword for the Frog Wizard? What's the best sword for Bog Spirit? How does the card or the benefit that it gives me work synergistically with my character and my class, my team composition? All right, next question from Ford, and I think this has to be the last question for this town hall. That being said, I am around. Feel free to tag me at any time. Will owners of the Gen Zero that comes with a given skin be the only ones that can play that card, or can you get the card other ways in the game? Great question. So let me read it one more time. Yeah, so the cards for the given skin, the current model is that they're locked to that specific character. So they will be exclusive. It's an exclusive benefit. Alrighty, it is 11:45. We do need to head out. I see other questions pouring in. We'll do our best throughout the day to answer them in the chat. As always, like I said, I'm around. Tag me. I pop in. I give updates pretty frequently. I post sneak peeks. I love talking with you guys. Never be afraid to tag me. I'm around. Ask away. Logan or 3D, I'm wondering if you guys have any things that you'd like to say in closing, or if we're all good.
I'm all good over here.
I just want to reiterate my thanks and again a warm hello to everyone that's joined while the town hall has been going on. It's really nice to see y'all and interact with y'all, and I'm looking forward to doing a lot more of it.
Yes, sir. I love it. Awesome. Well, thank you very much for listening. We do these town halls every month. So please, pop into the next one, ask more questions. This video or this town hall, excuse me, has been recorded. There will be a video up of it for people to listen to back to later if you're at work listening absentmindedly. For those of you listening later, thanks for tuning in. And I look forward to talking with you more. Hope you all have a good weekend. Thanks, guys.
Sweet.
Bye.
Later.